The development of the GII must be a cooperative effort among governments and people. It cannot be dictated or built by a single country. It must be a democratic effort. And the distributed intelligence of the GII will spread participatory democracy. To illustrate why, I would like to use an example from computer science. In the past, all computers were huge mainframes with a single central processing unit, solving problems in sequence, one by one, each bit of information sent back and forth between the central processing unit and the vast field of memory surrounding it. Now we have massively parallel computers with hundreds or thousands of tiny self-contained processors distributed throughout the memory field, all interconnected, and together far more powerful and more versatile than even the most sophisticated single central processor, because they each solve a tiny piece of the problem simultaneously, and when all of the pieces are assembled, the problem is solved quickly. Similarly, the GII will be an assemblage of local, national, and regional networks that are not only like parallel computers, but in their most advanced state will in fact be a distributed parallel computer. In a sense, the GII will be a metaphor for democracy itself. Representative democracy does not work with an all-powerful central government arrogating all decisions to itself. That is why communism collapsed and is failing. Instead, representative democracy relies on the assumption that the best way for a nation to make its political decisions is for each citizen, the human equivalent of the self-contained processor, to have the power to control his or her own life. To do that, people must have available the information they need and be allowed to express their conclusions in free speech and in votes that are combined with those of millions of others. That's what guides the system as a whole. The GII will not only be a metaphor for a functioning democracy, it will in fact promote the functioning of democracy by greatly enhancing the participation of citizens in decision-making. And it will greatly promote the ability of nations to cooperate with one another. I see a new Athenian age of democracy forged in the fora the GII will create. The GII will be the key to economic growth for national and international economies. For us in the United States, the information infrastructure already is to the U.S. economy of the 1990s what transportation infrastructure was to the economy of the mid-20th century. The integration of computing and information networks into the economy makes U.S. manufacturing companies more productive, more competitive, and more adaptive to changing conditions. And it will do the same for the economies of other nations. These same technologies are also enabling the service sectors of the U.S. economy to grow, to increase their scale and productivity, and expand their range of product offerings and ability to respond to customer demands. Approximately 60% of all U.S. workers are now knowledge workers, people whose jobs depend on the information they generate and receive over our information infrastructure. As we create new jobs, 8 out of 10 are in information-intensive sectors of our economy. These new jobs are usually well-paying jobs for financial analysts, computer programmers, and other educated workers. The global economy also will be driven by the growth of the information age, hundreds of billions of dollars can be added to world growth if we commit to the GII. I fervently hope this conference will take full advantage of this potential for economic growth and not deny any country or community its right to participate in this growth. As the GII spreads, more and more people realize that information is a treasure that must be shared to become valuable. When two people communicate, they can each be enriched. And unlike with traditional resources, the more you share, the more you have. As Thomas Jefferson said, "He who receives an idea from me receives instruction himself without lessening mine, as he who lights his taper at home receives light without darkening me." Now, we all realize that even as we meet here, global information infrastructure is being built, although many countries have yet to see any benefits at all. Digital telecommunications technology, fiber optics, and new high-capacity satellite systems are transforming telecommunications. And all over the world, under the seas and along the roads, pipelines, and railroads, companies are laying fiber optic cable. It carries thousands of telephone calls per second over a single strand of glass. These developments are greatly reducing the cost of building the GII.